What's going on, guys? So today I got a couple things to talk to you about. First one is we have almost hit 2,000 subscribers. That's unreal to me. That's awesome. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for supporting the channel, and it means the world to me. It means more to me than you'll ever know. Second one is I had a TV show contact me a couple months ago, and they were like, "Hey, would you like to be on our show?" And I didn't know what to say. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I? And she told me, what it was and all this good stuff, where we're going to film. This TV show was on Fox. There was, a couple people you might know that's been on the show. Gerard Butler, which everybody knows who Gerard is. He played in the movie P.S. I Love You, which is one of the best love movies of all time. And also the movie 300, which is the coolest, awesomest action movie of all time. If you're a guy, you've definitely seen it. Mark Wahlberg on the show, and also Academy Award winner Morgan Freeman. I was a little nervous going in. I got up at 4:30 that morning. My interview was at 9, and I worked out. Couldn't sleep, So I didn't butcher it, but it's not the best. It's not the best interview in the world. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So here's the clip.
Well, let's just dive right in.
Oh, that's
no
a good
pun
line.
intended. That was really good, right? Cody Brett, Hitch 13. You know him online. You love him. Dude, welcome.
Thanks for
So
having me.
cool.
I'm so excited for you to be here because
excited to be here.
I've been watching your stuff and you do some amazing dives.
Yeah, and you haven't been doing this for long, but what got my attention was I think it was a thumbnail and you showed all this mounting trash and the ways that you were helping to clean up areas that so many people love. And that in itself is to be commended and applauded. So take a bow if you need to stand up and all that good stuff. But that maybe it started that way, and then some of the discoveries you've made underwater and actually on land for that matter. You're always running into stuff. Why are you doing these adventures, and where did that come from?
Well, it started when I was a child. When I was a kid, people get attached to certain things. Some kids are attached to stuffed animals, some kids are attached to blankets, some little ridiculous thing. And I was actually attached to a movie, and it was a particular movie called Into the Blue, where these guys would dive down in the ocean, they find this cool treasure.
Yes.
So I would actually go out, and when I was a kid, I'd go out in the creeks and little puddles and stuff, and I'd look for neat little rocks. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
But we didn't have much money when I was a kid, so when I got older, saved up some money, I actually got scuba diving equipment, and I got to dive down. I've seen some of the craziest things you've ever seen.
That is so
And
cool.
when was that? When did you start diving?
Let's see, when I started diving, it was probably, I got my certification about 6 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You've
about
done all
6
of
months.
this in 6
Well,
months?
no, about 3 months is when I actually started filming and diving for things.
Wow.
So I got my certification 6 months ago, so about 3 months, about 90 days. So I've been to Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky,
Down in
Florida,
Florida,
Illinois.
yeah.
I've been all kinds of places looking for stuff.
It's amazing what you found locally. Bell Smith Springs is one that jumps out at me. I mean, we'll talk about that. There was a snake.
Yep, a big snake actually.
A big old snake.
7-foot snake. It's giant. Yeah.
Underwater.
It's the biggest snake I ever seen that wasn't in captivity.
But thank you, Lord. Wasn't it stuck and
It was
couldn't
stuck.
get you?
Yes, it was stuck, and it was actually passed away, which is unfortunate.
Oh,
but yes, it was
important.
Oh,
Yeah,
for you, it was very, very good. Yes.
Yeah.
But I love how have you noticed, you probably don't in your videos, but I love how you always reach out with your glove and you kind of snatch things to see if it's going to move or come back at you, and then you'll shake it a little bit.
I actually I wasn't wearing gloves for a while, and people in my videos were like, hey, you probably need to wear some gloves. So I went to the ocean. When you dive down in the ocean, there's jellyfish everywhere.
Sure,
so I got
right.
suited up from top to bottom, So
You should have worn that today. I think it would have really.
I should have walked in, looked like Scuba Steve. Yeah, I should have flopped in here. Yeah.
Let's talk about the class ring.
Okay, let's talk about
yeah.
it. Okay, the guy that lost it, he lost it 39 years ago, nearly 40 years ago. And I was diving at Bell Smith Springs. I actually found 5 Apple Watches that day.
That day.
And that class ring also. And the Apple Watches were great, but the class ring well, it stood out more to me than anything.
Yeah.
Because, it was, like I told him in the video, he lost that thing longer than I was alive.
Right.
So it was awesome. And when I returned it to the guy, he lived in Metropolis, Illinois down there.
Yeah.
And I returned it to him, and he was just ecstatic. I think I was more excited than he was.
And the Apple Watches, are they waterproof?
Well, some of them are, yeah. I guess the newer versions are, maybe. I don't know much about Apple. But I think half of them that I did return, they still worked. I actually was watching a segment the other day. There was a pastor in McLeansboro, and he was giving a segment on Facebook, and he was wearing his Apple Watch, giving a speech. So yeah, it was pretty cool. The one
Now,
I found.
how do you return an Apple Watch?
Well, I make Facebook posts usually because, some Apple Watches, if they do work, I can actually go in there and find the owner with the owner ID.
Right.
But some of them that does not work, I usually take a picture and they'll distinguish it and tell me and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you always make a point to say, I will try to get this back to the owner.
Yeah,
I
I
will
always try to. It's the
return
right thing to
this
do.
the-
you know
It
what I mean?
is.
I think I've returned over $6,000 worth of valuables to people. And and if I was in their shoes, if I lost something that cost $1,000, I'd probably want it back. So
Okay. Is there one little item, one little nugget that you found that you're like, okay, I like this a lot. I'm looking at it.
I don't know. I've only done this for 3 months, and I found watches, I found class rings. I found an iPhone 10 at the bottom of the ocean. I found that.
And
returned
dude,
to the lady.
I can hear you underwater. You're like,
Yeah, I get pretty excited. Because I see these guys all the time on videos, and they be finding all this neat stuff. And half the time, I think they plan it because I was like, "There's no way these guys can find this stuff
And not be excited?
But you really can, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've seen these guys doing it, and I got hooked, at a young age, and from then on, I was obsessed.
You're even turning it on underwater. You're like, oh, it works.
Oh man, it was cool. Yeah, I was gonna show
cool.
everybody that it worked. And actually, I met the lady that actually had that lost the phone, and she had her children's first steps on it. So yeah, that to me was priceless. She tried to give me some money for it. I was like, no, listen.
That's
But yeah.
sponsors. Listen, we got to get this guy. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you want to attach yourself to because, it's great. It brings joy. You're really good on camera. You're very animated. And like I said, when you dive down, and I really feel like I'm there with you, which is really kind of cool. You show us the sea life. I love what you were doing with the crabs and all that stuff. But man, when you make those discoveries, and then to think that, all the metal cans and stuff that you're putting in your bag. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it kind of helps conservation and marine life. And I think I hauled out about 80 pounds of trash from Palatalo. It's a local swimming area. But most of that trash was actually left on the beach from the day before. I went on a Monday morning, and I guess that weekend they must have had some crazy parties or something because there was things everywhere. A guy left his flip-flops out there. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, I hauled out, some of that stuff out of the water, and I just help everybody. It's a win-win for everybody, you know what I mean? So.
What animal life have you ran into that you're like, okay, I'm out of here?
Well, I don't know. I've never experienced any animal life that I
Scared you?
No, not really. I dove with sharks, but I haven't got on film yet. But I dove with sharks.
How'd you deal with it? What do you do?
Well, I really don't know what. I'm not really scared of the sharks or anything, but I do read stories sometimes about the shark attacks, of course, and that does happen very rarely. Because great white sharks, I don't know if I'd dive with them, free dive. I'd cage dive with them. But there's a guy in Australia just the other day actually got killed by a great white shark. But I think he was surfing. And the way it works with great whites, their main food source is seals. So when you're on a surfboard swimming on top of the water, you look like a seal.
Yes.
So they attack and they don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I was certified years ago, and they
cool.
say that you're actually fortunate if you run into a shark when you're diving.
Yeah, it's very rare.
And I'm like,
You know.
I don't know.
I was certified too in a pool, swimming pool.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I got.
Oh, yeah?
Swimming pools. I love to
nothing wrong
dive
with
in
that.
swimming pools.
Oh yeah, swimming pools.
All
are
right,
fun.
what's your ideal dive? If we can
My
make it happen for you, if
ideal
people are watching,
dive?
where would you want to go? What do you want to do? What is on your bucket list?
There is a place in the Bahamas called Pig Island, and that's it's actually I can't remember the island, the specific name for the island, but anyway, it's where these pigs are actually all across this island. And the way it worked was years ago, there was a tribe of stuff there, and I guess their main food source was pigs, so they'd raise pigs and they'd butcher them and they'd eat them. Well, a tourist or some person came down there because they have the most beautiful beaches in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They got down there and they filmed with their camera and with their phone. Anyway, it got back to America, and all of a sudden that hit went viral. So now all the pigs are protected down there. So you can go down there, and it's crystal clear water. You can feed them out of the boat. They come right up to you. You can pet them. It's the coolest thing ever.
If we make it happen, can we go with you?
If you want to, yeah. We'll go tomorrow morning. I don't care.
What about the coral reef?
The coral reef?
The famous coral reef. Was it in Australia?
I've never been there.
Okay. Would you like to?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, for sure.
He's open.
Yeah. I enjoy all this stuff. I love it. And, I've talked to a lot of older people, and they don't regret the things that they've done. They regret the things that they didn't do. And I don't want to have that
Exactly.
mentality when I get that age.
That's the
so I
truth.
do all I can while I can. You know, and you can't change yesterday, but you can change today and tomorrow.
Amen.
Yes, I love
Good for you. All right, Hitch 13, Cody Brett, find him if you haven't. We'll be right back.